a sweltering day here in Richmond, Virginia, but we still have some USL League One soccer lined up for you, brought to you by Sport Backers. Today we have Orlando City B, a young side, visiting the Richmond Kickers. Both teams struggling to find a win in recent games, but have a chance to prove themselves here this evening. I'm Mark Schoenster here to call the action on ESPN+. Now let's take a look at some of what happened last time these two teams met back May 22nd. Tablante started off the goal scoring in this matchup in just the 4th minute, and then Serginho scored a second goal for Orlando in the 27th minute to give Orlando a 2-goal lead. But the goal scoring in this game was not finished. Elijah Lockerbie scored in the 35th minute, Matthew Baldock on the assist, and he would have an assist later in this game in the 80th minute to Joshua Hughes, who tied the game up at 2 late in this matchup. But this goal scoring wasn't over yet, because Orlando is awarded a penalty kick in the 85th minute, and Souza successfully takes it, giving them the lead and their second win of the entire season, giving them some momentum back then. But now taking a look at some of the players in this game to look at, Souza being that guy who scored the game-winning PK, and then Josh Hughes, who will be sitting on the bench to start this game, but with this intense heat in mind, he'll most likely find his way onto the pitch with all the experience he brings to it. But with that, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we have lineups and kickoff right here on ESPN+.
At CBS 6, our office is out here.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still our is on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
There's a lot of people that are vulnerable that can't fight for themselves, and that's where I can have the most impact as an investigative reporter. I see the result of people being taken advantage of. It makes me feel sick. I actually like pouring through documents. I get super excited when you find something that can hold somebody accountable. I'm Melissa Hippolyte, and I'm working for you.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still our is on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
We are back for some action here in Richmond, Virginia. Feels over 100 degrees right now at City Stadium. The matchup Orlando City versus the Richmond Kickers. In a minute, we're going to get a look at these lineups here for these two sides. Let's take a look first at Richmond's starting lineup. Couple of things worth noting. As we mentioned, Hughes will be starting on the bench in this matchup. Scott Thompson, a guy who was ailing a foot injury coming into this week, will be starting here today. But outside of that, it's pretty much your typical lineup. Braden Schroyer only getting his 3rd start, though, right there at right midfielder. He's 26 years old and has played in 7 games this season. This will be his 8th. Now looking over at Orlando, we're going to get Christian Herrera at keeper. He played last game they played in against Greenville and saved a PK in that matchup. And then you got Rafael, who's returning in the center at number 10, mid-center midfielder to be precise. And then you got Tablante, Bender, and Bagru all up at forward, giving a aggressive lineup for this Orlando side, looking to start the game attacking early. You see the Red Army here, despite the intense weather conditions, ready to cheer their team on currently a 4-game losing streak, but they're going up against another team that struggled, both teams sitting in the bottom of the standings currently, but with a win here today, they can start turning their season around. Richmond started off the season in a fairly decent spot back in May even. Were in one of the top 4 playoff positions, but have had a little bit of a nosedive since that matchup, and now here at home against another team that's struggling, it's a chance for either of these sides to start flipping the script this season. We just passed the halfway point about 2 weeks ago in this inaugural season of USL League One soccer. So there's still plenty of games to be had, and these teams both have the chance to really turn their season around, and if not make a playoff spot, at least make it a season worth being proud of. As we see the Orlando side donning their white away kits, a much younger team than the team they're playing against in Richmond, who are donning their red uniforms. You see Herrera there, the starting goalkeeper, tall, staggering 6'7", was able to, as I mentioned, save a PK against Greenville in their last matchup. And although usually there will be the starting keeper role goes to Chade, Herrera is now getting his 5th start on the season and is now issuing some commands here as he towers over the rest of his teammates. A good head and almost shoulders above everybody else as Gallardo and Chin line up for the kickoff. Look like they're going to be going right to left as we await Orlando to break up their huddle. The head official today is Gabriel Giusti, a regular referee here in League One, and will have to handle not only this game but also just whether they're going to opt to take some water breaks, because it is very hot out today. It's nearly 100 degrees out and it feels over 100 degrees. A lot of fans still out here today though, despite that fact. You can see them sitting in the stands, but we'll see how long they are able to last as we are underway officially in this matchup. Richmond hosting Orlando City B. Both teams with a lot to prove. An older veteran team versus the young side in Orlando. And Richmond will have possession of the ball first. Diouf with the ball. Gets it to Blante. Scored a goal in their last affair between each other. This is deflected around and will go back to Fitzgerald. Unlike the other side that started in every single game for the Kickers this season, hasn't missed a single matchup, has 5 clean sheets on the year despite Richmond having allowed 21 goals this season. Currently on a 4-game losing streak, but are looking to turn it around here. And maybe something even worse than the fact that they've lost 4 straight is the fact that they haven't scored in 6 straight games, which goes all the way back to May 22nd, that game against Orlando, over 540 game minutes and just 2 days shy of 2 months without scoring a goal. This ball gets cleared out, and Richmond will maintain possession. That's Gallardo with the ball. He'll slowly bring it down the field. He's got Thompson on his left. He's going to opt to give it to him. Poor pass in the back. Orlando now wins the ball. There's Mendoza with it. I asked Coach David Bulow, head coach of the Richmond Kickers, how they were going to adjust their offense given the fact that they've been unable to score as they win the ball back. But very quickly lose it to this Orlando side. Raphael returning after missing a couple of games. An older presence on this team. But this ball gets passed down to Blante. He's going to give it back to Simas. It's stolen away by Shanosky. This Richmond side, David Bulow said that they've spoken about how to be more clear and getting more numbers up the field and in the box for a crossing position. One of many things he's been focused on addressing. Gets knocked around. Knocks slowly up the field before the ball is lost back to the visiting side. Orlando knocking it around a little bit. Looking to find the field, and we get our first foul of the game. And it'll be an Orlando free kick. Right by the visiting team's bench. Coach Fernando issuing some commands. Here we got a look at the officials here today. As I mentioned earlier, they have a added burden in this game with this strenuous heat. And it looks like the sunshine there getting into Blante's eyes as he just missed the location of the ball completely. Thompson gives it back to Fitzgerald, who's unable to pick it up in time. Just knocks it out before it services a corner kick on a silver platter for Orlando. This ball gets knocked around a little bit, deflecting between players, but it will ultimately end up in DU's possession. Regular captain for this team and wearing the band again today. Here's Seamus, gives it down to Blante. Gives it back, that's Amer. Back over to the left side. Orlando's going to take their time and not press up too aggressively just yet. Gets knocked around a little bit. One back by Orlando. Blante already getting a lot of touches on the ball. Scored in the opening 4 minutes last time these two teams met. Serginho set him up on the free kick. He ripped one into the back of the net, giving them a lead early at home. As this one rolls all the way out. We'll see what the ref decides. He'll say goal kick. Guess it didn't make contact with the defender, and Akira Fitzgerald will reset it really quickly. 32-year-old, lots of experience. Unlike a lot of these Orlando players who are just, if not already, still in their teenage years, just leaving it. This Orlando attack has definitely been lackluster, as I said, nearly 2 months since they've scored. Another thing that Bulow said about their offense is that they need to get more attempts on goal and focus on the end product. He mentioned that they're very in detail about their progression from defense up the field, but want to build that into the final third, that same defense, or that same detail. And they want to be more deliberate with actions in the box and really focus on that final pass. Just a couple of things he felt constructive about. As Bagru tries to get to the ball, they fight over it, and it's deflected up, and they're going to be a foul called on the play. A little bit of a deflection there. Bagru trying to win the ball past Fitzgerald off the deflection. But he will not have a second go at it as we take a look at the replay here. Never mind, excuse me. And we go straight back to play here as Richmond progresses up the field. Goes over to the left side. Here's Thompson. To the left, cleared out. That will be Richmond ball most likely. Let's take a look at take a look back at that Bagru opportunity. Not able to get that second chance on goal, an open shot, but no good for the away side. And now Gallardo will set himself up for the first corner kick in this matchup. A chance for Richmond to force their way into ending this drought and effectively putting their team on the lead at home. It sends inside, punched away by Herrera. He's got that height advantage to get his fist there before anyone can even get their forehead on it, and it's cleared away. Bulow with the effective trap of the ball off the sideline, showing his professional soccer experience despite now taking up a coaching role. It's knocked around a little bit more. Neither side have had a real shot on goal just yet. Bagru was pretty close, but not quite. Now this Orlando side, although although also sitting at the bottom of the rankings and also have played 2 more games than Richmond, despite the fact that playoffs seem like a pretty ridiculous dream at this point. They still have a lot to play for, since many of the players are academy products and young players. As this gets sent into the attacking third, Mwape forces himself a corner kick for Richmond. Deflects it off of Mendoza. And we're going to get our second corner of the day. Mwape just tried to get into the box and deflecting it off of the defender. See some supportive Richmond fans, the Red Army. As Thompson goes over to take the corner kick. Giving some chance in support of their team. Looking for 3 points here today. Long sought after. This one goes inside and it's going to be easily headed away. Richmond will recollect it. Be sent back inside and headed away once again. Now here's Diouf. Gets knocked over and rightfully draws a foul. Then it'll be another Orlando free kick. With Mendoza to collect the ball, and he's actually going to give it back to a teammate. Waiting to see who decides to take this kick. Looks like they're going to give the responsibility to Silva. Go all the way back to Herrera. Silva just served a suspension for his red card in a game a week ago against Chattanooga. So he didn't get to play in their game against Greenville last Saturday. This one gets passed around a little bit. It'll be Orlando ball once again. But despite not being in the best position playoff-wise, Orlando young players, as I mentioned a little bit, a lot of academy graduates and young players. And Orlando City's executive vice president of soccer operations has been clear he's committed to developing homegrown players. As we get another foul here, and Silva is on the ground, clenching his knee. Ref checking him out, making sure he's all right. He's slow to get up. Take a look at that one again. Gallardo comes in for the slide tackle and just takes out both of his feet. Maybe hit him in the shin. These players all get themselves back up and prepare for this free kick. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Fitzgerald collects this game's Select ball in his palms, avoiding any sort of offensive opportunity for Orlando. There's Troyer giving it back. Defensive back line knocks it around. You know, despite this heat, we're getting a constant chant from the Richmond faithful. Definitely something that the kicker franchise can be proud of. The fan base supportive, despite the team's record, despite the extreme heat out today. Devontae keeps the ball in bounds. His feet in the sideline as he sends a through ball. Here's Bagru. It's going to be knocked away. No foul called on the play. Bagru looking for a foul, but he is not going to get it. Would have been a penalty kick if that had been the case, which was how Orlando was able to take the lead for good last time these two teams played. But taking a look here, Devontae just keeping the ball in bounds pretty effectively, but then it gets knocked away. No chance for Bagru to get a look on the ball in the box. Amer is going to give it all the way back to Herrera, who can't pick it up, and he's going to knock it away quickly. Gallardo, hot in pursuit, of the tall keeper. And here he is again with the ball. They're gonna win a throw in here now. But these players for Orlando still all individually have a lot to prove, even if they're not able to make the playoffs this season, especially with their executive vice president, or one of them, watching over every game closely. He keeps a close eye on all the players as Mwape passes into the box, but it's knocked away. And Orlando will clear it out. This one gets volleyed back into Orlando's side. Thompson loses possession of the ball. Now here's Seamus. Bringing it up the field and will lose possession of the ball for a throw-in. Magalhaes forcing it, deflecting it off of the fellow defender. And Thompson will take the throw-in. Another big aspect of this game, Richmond is a much older team than Orlando. Orlando being a lot of academy graduates and some of them just sitting on 20 years old, maybe even younger, whilst this Richmond team is much older on average. All the players have some experience for the most part playing professional soccer. As Gallardo enters into the attacking third, tries to pass it into the middle. Here's Chin, deflects it, and Herrera is going to let it fly by, or roll by would be a better way to put it. Chin with an opportunity there. Gallardo with a deflected pass. Chin adjusted himself, but he's not able to quite put it on frame, and Herrera just lets it safely go by. But he may have grazed his hand on it because they're going to call it another corner kick for the home side. And Gallardo, once again, going to take this. As the rest of the players are going to load up into the box. Gallardo, one of the offensive weapons on this team, one who's dangerous early in the season, sends it into the box, looking around, gets a head on it, and it's going to go off the post and in! And Richmond take the lead. Dennis Chin celebrating. The referee waving his hands up, though. They're going to call it offsides. Chin with the last touch, just right behind the back line, and fans not happy with that one. Gallardo sends it in. It goes off the post, and Chin clearly behind Herrera on that one. Good call by the assistant referee and the center ref, Gabriel Gusti. And that one is going to be rolled back, and we're still drawn at 0. Disappointing for this Richmond fan base, but also the right call by the officials. Almost on target with the header. And Chin just a little bit too antsy off the deflection. And although the fans were upset about it, they have quickly reverted back to their chance to support their team. Not too focused on the negative here as they're back on the offense. And it's volleyed into the box. Here's Chin, and he's going to be called offsides once again. Gallardo kind of just volleying it backwards. Not really looking at Chin, but Chin was not quite in the right position once again. That has 2 offsides calls on him in this game. Here's Herrera once again, 22 years old. Just a giant by the net. Taken by Gallardo, and he sends it away. Silva. This one's going to find its way up the field. Orlando gets it stolen away. It's going to be fought around. Mwape trying to win the ball. And he'll get himself a free kick for his team. Now Richmond will reset it back to their back line. A formula that they're used to at this point, but now would like to be more comfortable up here in the attacking third. They've been knocking on the door a couple of times and just nearly had a goal, if not for just positioning slightly not being in their favor. And the attacking third. Looks for Gallardo, but it's going to be cleared away. And Begru's going to chase after it. But Fitzgerald will collect it easily, giving it to Akwe. And now Fitzgerald with the ball once again. So there's a collision midair, and there's going to be a foul on that one. Seamus knocking into Thompson and giving Richmond the free kick. Take a look at that one again. Just coming in too hot and just hits him in his back, maybe even through a little bit of an elbow. And it'll be Richmond ball once again. Much like last time these two teams played, Richmond had 60% of the possession, and they are owning the ball once again here today. I asked David Buelow, the head coach of Richmond, what went wrong in that game, given the fact that they had so much of the possession. And he said it wasn't really as much the poor defensive play as this through ball goes into Gallardo. Steps into the box, looking around for an opening. But he's effectively tackled out. Thompson crosses it back inside, and this one's headed away, avoiding danger. Troyer knocks it back in, but there's no one there. Herrera easily cleans it up. And looking back at that game, Buelow said it was, the big issue was they gave the ball away in bad areas, and their inability to be smart with the ball was not good, because Orlando's good with the counterattack and create chances fast from the back to the front. And he's looking to have his team be more careful with the ball in this game, saying that they need to be in sync in transition, and they need to take care of the ball even in their half of the pitch, because, as just mentioned, they can counterattack very quickly. As Lockerbie throws this ball back into play. This ball gets chipped up, and Thompson tries to keep it in bounds with the shoulder, unable to do so. Rolls the ball out for an Orlando throw-in as we reach 20 minutes in this matchup. Orlando haven't really had a shot on goal yet. Grew getting double teamed, getting grabbed a little bit by Troyer. DeBlante passes deflected out by Troyer once again, and it's going to roll out for a corner kick. The first one for Orlando. Now they'll have their go at this opportunity. Set piece, and looks like they're going to send Diouf over there, the captain, to take it. Been a big player on the team this year, been impressive. One of the younger guys who has really stepped up. And many people have acknowledged that he, along with some other players on the B team, have potential to make the first team, at least at some point in the future. But will definitely not be losing a spot for the B team anytime soon. Raphael crosses it in, got a header, but a foul called. Looks like Silva knocked the player down on his way to that header, and thus canceling that header on goal that ended up going over the crossbar. But as we take a look here, it's completely on the ground, and the header going off the grass and then over the crossbar. A lot of heat on it. But in the end, no matter where that ball was going, it was coming back. We're still draw here as Gallardo has some open space. Looking for some room. Gives it a shot and is punched away by Herrera. Mendoza tries to keep it in bounds, but was unable to do so, and it'll be another corner kick for Richmond. Take a look at that one again. Gallardo just lets one go, and Herrera able to punch it away with his length. And here we have the fans once again excited to see Gallardo and Thompson go to the corner. And they sit right there cheering on their team. Thompson will be the one to take it, and Gallardo will be right there next to him as an option. Thompson opts to send it inside. We get a header punched up by Herrera, and outside of the box, he's on the ground. Here's Bolduc. Tries to give it a go, deflected away. Bolduc will retain possession. Looked like he was going to try to pass it to the left, and now he does so. Here's Thompson. Crosses it inside. He's got two men there. Herrera punches it away. Gallardo now has it. Open box. Can he cross it in time? He gets it into the air. He got a header on it. It goes up. Collected by Bulldog. Here's Troyer giving a look, and it goes wide right. Unique opportunity there for Richmond, but unable to do anything with it. The header goes backwards instead of forward on that one. You see Herrera punches it out and then loses his footing just for a second. Gallardo crosses it back inside, and Magalhaes' header goes in the opposite direction of the way it needs to go. Effectively just removing the danger from that play on accident. Fans follow Richmond kickers and the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN+, home of the USL, MLS, UFC, US Open Cup, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Orlando really struggling to get any sort of offensive spark going in this game thus far. Have driven down about halfway down Richmond's half, just 3/4 of the field, unable to get it into the attacking third and even get a good shot on goal, or even just a shot in general for the most part. Here's Raphael giving it back to Diouf. Dishes it out. Here's Seamus. Seamus looks around, gives it back. Orlando backline will take it from here. This ball goes all the way out of bounds. We'll go back to Richmond possession. This gets thrown in Akwe. Poor pass, almost intercepted, but wisely knocked away. Here's Magalhaes with the ball. Met by Tablante, he's able to clear it, but it's going to go out for an Orlando throw-in. This Orlando team just looking to make something happen here 25 minutes into the game as the ref blows his whistle. See when he decides to call it a hydration break if he opts to. A very hot day here in Richmond, Virginia. Two teams looking to prove themselves, sitting at the bottom of the standings currently, but both still have a lot to play for. Here's Silva, crosses it to Seamus, met by Thompson. He's able to spin around, looking to outmaneuver him. Able to do so, decides to hop back. Gallardo, hot in pursuit on that one. Back to Herrera, who now has a lot of time to decide where he's going to go with it. This Orlando team, as I mentioned, have a lot more age on this Orlando side. As we get a through ball sent that's way too far, Herrera picks it up. Looks like he even thinks that there's a teammate who sent it back to him, doesn't even pick it up, and then he gives it to Hill. This Richmond team is much older than Orlando, and Richmond's coach acknowledges that and says it's mainly the advantage that come with that fact. He says that their experience and discipline should be better than a young team, and it's going to be hot this weekend, which his prediction was correct when he said that earlier in this week. And they have to be intentional with defending and attacking and conserve energy because of this heat as this gets sent all the way down the box and given all the way back to Fitzgerald, who clears it out and collected by Orlando. This ball's knocked around. A little bit of a collision there, but it will be an Orlando throw-in. Gabriel Gusti given the call, and so far made sure this game has been played fairly, and will also, of course, keep track of if the players' health and safety needs to be taken into consideration, and a stop in time will have to be made for a water break. A little bit of a tug there, and the foul will be called. Raphael getting pulled down by Mwape. Silva will take it. Take a look at that again. He just pulls his left arm and he loses his balance, falls over. Pretty easy call for the ref. Sitting right in plain sight for us all to see. He's knocked around a little bit more. Amer gives it over to the left side. He's got Silva to keep it in bounds. It's knocked back. Silva. Raphael. Possession is lost, and Richmond has it. And a through ball is given right back toward the Orlando side. Poor passing. Here's to Blante, who's open, but it goes to Fitzgerald instead. And Richmond will once again win possession of the ball. This ball rolls over all the way back to Herrera. And Seamus will have the ball here. The Sun beats town on this half of the field. Should be expecting a hydration break in a moment. Silva with the ball, taking his time with it. Just gets knocked around. Blante will keep possession of the ball, but Magalhaes will steal it right back. Should opt to give it to Fitzgerald, and he does. Here's Thompson. Golduck with the ball. Takes it up the field, dishes it into the middle. Here's Mwape. Gives it over to the right side to Chin. It's got some open room. Sends it over to the right side. Crosses it back in, cleared out by Silva. Build up. Cooled off right there by the defender. And now it'll be Orlando ball once again. Silva, 22 years old. Gotten a lot of touches already here today, 6'2". Comes from Brazil to play for this Orlando team. One of several Orlando players who have a connection with some Brazilian players. Have a couple on the team. Here's Raphael being another example. Looked like he was tempted to take a shot, but it closed immediately. Here's Seamus. Raphael tries to dish it back, a little bit of a collision there. Legs got tangled up, and the ref is going to call what seems to be another foul here. Raphael's on the ground, curled up. Still on the ground here, but he's going to, it looks like it's right shin. He's going to be helped up by his teammate Tablante. Let's take a look at that one again. Just slide tackles in from behind. Just an ugly play by Magalhaes. That'll be a free kick in firing range, and Magalhaes is given a yellow card for that offense, his second card on the season. And rightfully so. That was not much to call for there. Little explanation for the defender, who also happens to be Brazilian, slide tackling Raphael on that play. Orlando loads up in the top left corner of the box to Blante. Gonna pass it to the top. Seemed a little bit out of sync there. And the offensive opportunity is just reset back to the back line. Seeming like a little bit of a missed opportunity for Orlando there. But Raphael's got some open space. He's gonna drive it down. It's deflected away for a corner kick, Orlando. Getting another chance after seemingly a miscommunication on that free kick. All the players seem to be running into the center of the box, and none of them were there to get the pass behind them. Whether it be a conflict in thought or just a mistaken pass. It seemed like the target of the pass was right exactly where they wanted it to be, but none of the players were, in their mind, the one who was going to receive it outside of the box. Raphael sends it in, bounces around. no one's there to finish it. Could have been a good opportunity for Orlando, but nobody there to hop on it. The ref's now going to call for that hydration break mentioned a little bit ago. All the players going to come off the field. Feels like over 100 degrees there, so water is going to be an important thing in this matchup. The players all need to stay hydrated, avoid any sort of heat exhaustion or dehydration just in general. Take a look just for this quick break to look at some of the goal scoring leaders, or the Golden Boot race as we like to call it in League One. Of course, the two sitting up top are North Texas, the high scoring first place team. Ronaldo Demis with 9 goals, Ricardo Pepi with 7. And then we look at the assist leader. We see Matthew Bolduc right there with 4 assists on the season, including 2 against Orlando City the last time these two teams played. A couple other interesting guys to look at. And then we've got the Golden Glove competition. Right now, Jay sitting in that top spot with the goals against model to determine who wins this award. And then we bring it back to the pitch as these two teams who, after about 35 minutes of action, only a couple looks on goal so far in this one as all the players sit and recover, giving their chance to cool off just a little bit before they go back to the pitch for 10 more minutes until halftime. But one big thing about this Orlando side that they very much value is some of that veteran leadership on the field. And one guy who isn't in the game today, Brandon John, had just returned from a bad knee injury and played the last 2 games. But Coach Fernando of Orlando's side notes that he's the type of veteran leader on the team that helps other players on the team develop, which is what Coach Fernando likes to do, pair young players with experienced ones in order to provide the best opportunity for learning and growth. Instead of just throwing a bunch of just 11 young guys onto the pitch, it's good to have someone who could give them some direction on offense in the midfield and on defense like Brandon John was doing. But unfortunately, he's not here today, but someone they expect to be an impact on this team for the final stretch of games they have. A couple other players that fall into that same category as Brandon John are Begru, who is starting up on offense today, and then Santos, or Raphael, as he's most commonly called, at midfield as we return back to the action here at Citi Field. And Magalhaes will get the ball. Currently with a yellow card in this game, has to be wary about his aggressive behavior for the rest of the game. Orlando looking to maybe get some more offensive opportunities in the last 10 minutes. Haven't had a shot on goal up to this point. Meanwhile, Richmond having a couple more shots, but equally as unsuccessful. Got pretty close, but an offsides call called that one back. Quick interception by Akwe. Here's Bolduc. Got a little room on his left, decides to go right. Here's Chin. Back to Mwape. Gives it a shot, saved by Herrera, right into his chest, but that one had some speed on it. Good look for Mwape there. We'll take a look at that one again. Someone that David Beulah noted is a dangerous offensive player, so we should be expected to see him make some more plays as this game wears on. That's his first real offensive play on the game. This goes all the way back to the Orlando back line after that opportunity. Herrera has done pretty well so far in his games. Hasn't had a clean sheet yet in the 4 games he's played coming into this one, but has saved 16 of the 22 shots that have gone at him, which is 73%, which is pretty good when you look around the league compared to his counterpart in Akira Fitzgerald, who's saved 64%. Of course, that comes with him playing every single game this season to Herrera's just 4 coming into this one. This one gets knocked back. Here's Bolduc. The ball once again, bringing it down the field. He's got Gallardo. Decides to go inside the box. Gets tripped over, and there's going to be a foul called on this play. And the referee is going to decide if he's going to make it a PK or a free kick right at the top of the box. Looks like he's going to make it a free kick right there. Fans not happy with it, thinking it should have been a penalty, but it's going to be right at the top of the box. Let's take a look at that foul. Once again, Baldock is right here, and the slide tackle looks like it happened just inside the box, but the ref is going to opt to not give that one a penalty kick. Playing it a little bit safe here, as Jordan Hill, the one guilty of the foul here, and Gallardo is going up to the line with Moape. We'll see who will take it a shot. As fans chant VAR in the background, rather amusingly. Looks like Gallardo, Thompson, and Moape all could be potential takers here. You'd expect a shot on goal or a quick setup for a shot. Looks like Gallardo and Moape are the candidates to see. This could be Richmond's chance to end this drought that's lasted almost 2 months. Gallardo lets out some deep breaths. Gives it a shot, it's headed up, still in the air, and it's punched out by Herrera. Collected again by Aqua, who gives it a shot, but off target. Had some heat on it. Not the worst look you could expect. Take a look at that one again. Gallardo tries to get it just over the wall of defenders, just a little bit too low. Would expect for a shot to try to go low on that one, given Herrera's height. It'll take him a little bit longer to get to the ground, but it's up to the striker's opinion on where's the best place to put the ball in situations like that. In a free kick that close to goal, definitely have to be precise with your shot, squeezing it around the defenders and on target. There's not a lot of time to give it time to curve as this one goes all the way out. We've got about 5 minutes plus added time left in this first half of action. So far, most of the offense has been in Richmond's favor, and they nearly had a goal, just a header off the post and then Chin offsides with the finish. But the ref called it back, and we are still drawn at 0 between these two sides. There's Bulldog. Gives it down to Thompson. He's got Gallardo. He's going to send the through ball, and it's going to be off target, and it'll be a goal kick. Herrera quickly resets the goal kick and gives it to Silva. And he gives it back to his keeper. Now it's Seamus, waiting out this half and giving it back to Hill. Get an interception here. Here's Chin. Now has some momentum, then it gets cleared away, almost hits a teammate in the face. Aimer on the clear, and Silva almost being a victim of a point-blank high-speed ball to the face. And that ball was rather off target for an aimer clear, and it will be a corner kick awarded to the Richmond side as we enter the 43rd minute of this game. And Richmond almost had a goal on one of their previous corner kick attempts, looking to replicate that opportunity and capitalize it on this time. But he opts to give it to Gallardo. Tries to weave it inside, enters the box, gets tripped up, and it rolls out for another corner kick. No foul called. Gallardo looking to draw a foul there, desperate for a penalty kick, but instead they'll go back to the right corner for another opportunity. The Red Army drumming right behind Thompson as he prepares himself for yet another corner. This one goes inside. It's headed off target. And easily collected by Diouf and sends it up. He's looking for Bender, and Bender knocks a guy over and will. Looks like it was Akwe, the one who he pushes down. There's a couple of words being exchanged here. No, Moape was the one pushed down. Lockaby and Diouf. Maybe not saying the nicest things to each other, but now it'll be a Richmond free kick. Another set piece opportunity. He sends it to Lockaby, but it is too far ahead of him, and it's knocked out. Bender, the one kicking it away. Gallardo weaves around some defenders, and he earns himself a foul. Slide tackled from behind by Mendoza. Actually, it looks like Tablante's the one guilty of the foul, and he gets himself a yellow card. That'll be his 5th card on the season, as he lets himself get beat by Gallardo and just slides in right outside the box from behind. And another good call by the referee. Tablante now has 5 yellow cards on the season. None of them have been resulted in a red card. Kept himself clean in that regard, despite the fact that he has a considerably high number of yellows.
To Orlando City, number 24.
Now Moape and Thompson are there, looking for what could be considered like a miniature corner kick. Players load themselves into the box. Thompson should be expected to chip it into the box. Instead passes it low inside, and it's knocked away for yet another corner kick. His last 5 or so minutes have just been sitting here in the attacking third for Richmond. Just set piece after set piece. Really unable to ever actually get a shot on goal or a header or anything of the sort.
2 minutes, extra time, 2 minutes.
As you hear the PA announcer from the stadium gives 2 minutes after the previously scheduled 45. Not much has stopped this game outside of the hydration break. The clock is stopped for the majority of that. Thompson just waiting for the okay from the ref, and he gets it, sends it inside. This one's got some hover to it. Akwe with the header, and this one's picked up by Herrera. And Thompson getting a little bit too into the goalkeeper's body. Earns himself a foul, but Herrera is able to collect it, getting his hands on it before Thompson can get a head on it, as he takes his time to reset the ball. And Orlando maybe have one more chance to attack offensively before the whistle blows and the players go to the locker rooms. Here's Chin trying to get around Silva, and he's unsuccessful in it. He decides to just give it back. Thompson slips. Then he has a poor pass, and he's ailing his left foot. Wasn't the most comfortable loss of balance there, and it probably reflected in his pass as well. Magalhaes escorts the ball out, giving Richmond another goal kick. They will most likely kick it in, and then the ref won't allow but so much time before sending these teams into the locker room for half. For the most part, not any scary opportunities offensively outside of that called back goal for Richmond in this first half. See what each coach anticipates in the second half as we get that final whistle. The score after 45 is still 0-0 between these two sides. Orlando really struggling to get any sort of offense going. Meanwhile, Richmond one step further, but that's not saying too much. There was a bit of a hydration break in that one, but From this point on, we've got some halftime content for you, so do not change your viewing choices. You're watching Richmond Kickers Orlando City B right here on ESPN+.
Giving you an inside look at the weather every morning and night on CBS.
True investigations can take months, even years, to get answers, and that can be difficult. I look at the people who are putting their trust in me. I take that seriously. I've been a journalist for almost 25 years, and I still keep in touch with some of these families from one of my first stories that I've ever done. I'm investigative reporter Laura French, and I'm working for you.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still obvious on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
Problem Solvers Investigations with Laura French. Problem Solvers Investigations with Melissa Hippolyte. Every Tuesday and Wednesday at 11 on CBS 6 News.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still obvious on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
Welcome back to Richmond, Virginia. Let's take a look at some of our halftime content here today, starting off with the fact that this week is cleat in USL League One. The USL graphic designers had a field day creating custom cleats for all 10 USL League One teams, incorporating their home cities, logos, and kits as inspiration for the final product. Taking a look at the Richmond Kickers, Red Army takes center stage with their design. The logo and a cool fire pattern adorn this one. Then looking at the Storm coming with the Tormented design, the Ibis makes an appearance on the toe of the shoe with crushing waves and lightning. Outside of that, we can take a look at the Chattanooga design, which has a wolf on the inside and mountainous landscape all around the shoe. And then triangles, stripes show off the North Texas design with elements from the Texas state flag and FC Dallas logo all over the shoe. Stripes and Ignite colors take over the Lansing design cleat with an appearance by the spark plug on the outside and the 517 area code on the inside. A classic look adorns the Greenville design. The stripe encompasses the length of the shoe while the mountains appear on the toe for this Greenville cleat. FC Tucson's design borrows from all parts of the team crest, including the arrows and the honeycomb background with the team's name on the outside of the foot. The Orlando Lion takes the center stage on this design with Sunshine State's bright rays of light emanating from the center of this predominantly purple boot. Madison's keeper kits were the inspiration of this shoe with the kit layout on the outside of the foot, while dozens of tiny flamingos adorn the inside of the foot. Toronto's red, gray, and white log takes over this design with overlapping elements from the team's crest and color scheme taking over the shoe. Tell us which design is your favorite and win a pair of sneakers in that pattern. Head to USLLeague1.com and vote by Sunday. Navigate to the Cleat Week page. Once you're there, scroll through all 10 designs, and at the bottom of the page, rank all 10 and tell us which pair you would wear. The winner gets sneakers in the design they choose and will be notified by email on Monday, July 22nd. Don't delay, the last day to enter is Sunday, July 21st. We are more than halfway through the season of USL League One, and there are many unique experiences to be had when visiting the homes of these 10 teams. Chattanooga comes in at number 5 with almost 2,200 folks attending games at David Stanton Field in southeastern Tennessee. Greenville's Legacy Early College venue is a fun place to catch a game with nearly 2,500 folks on average cheering on the Triumph so far this season. Cooley Law Stadium is the site for Lansing Ignite's inaugural season in League One, with close to 3,000 attending LIFC contests. And then, of course, the game happening here today at City Stadium is a mainstay in USL throughout the years, and Red Army shows up in force for Richmond Kickers home games with almost 3,500 coming to games in the River City. But it can be argued that Breese Stevens Field in Madison, Wisconsin is the place to be this season, with the flock and plenty of pink in the stands for Forward Madison games. Over 4,000 folks coming through the gates on average this year makes for a fun atmosphere. Now let's take a look at the numbers for the top 5 teams by attendance in this first USL League One season. As you can see, Richmond having the second best average attendance on the season, but of course have the highest capacity out of any of these stadiums, which means they have the potential to really pass any of the other teams. You can see they have the highest in attendance for a singular game. But with that in mind, take a look at some of those stats, and then we still have some more halftime content with you coming your way. So now let's take a visit into the USL block of our halftime show.
Long strike, a goal for Orange County. Lacroix and Duke Lacroix. This is dangerous, headed on frame. It is a goal for Orange County. And Corey Herzog, and he perfectly places it. Hit toward the back post, in the air and through. Orange County. Reese Williams with some space. Williams curls it inside the 18. Soccer attempt and a beautiful strike on the bicycle for Lansing Ignite FC. Absolutely incredible. Elma Enfor. Are you kidding me? Going long distance, trying to connect. Sayone, and he puts it in the back of the net from long distance. Sending it forward. Here's another opportunity, and boy, you back of the net. That is what they've been looking to do all night long. 91st minute, we are tied at 1 apiece. Here's Mintz again. Mintz gets cross to the top of the D. Moshomani left foot. Beautiful strike. Tumi Moshomani. Here comes North Texas on the attack. The strike and a goal.
Is this the moment? Jose Angulo! Dillon Stadium alive again! Martinez! What a way to secure a hat-trick! Douglas Martinez taking the spotlight!
To keep it out does the 17-year-old. Looked like it hit the heel of Forrester, and the Bold have the answer moments later. Guess who? Tierpak. Cervantes got the early rounds against the super sub. There's bodies up there. There's bodies up there. All right, let's see this. This is where he shines. Cross it in, lets it through. Here's Partey! Can you believe that? What a strike! His second on the year.
Kobayashi trying to pick it up Ryan Wright. Wright brings it down. Wright puts it in!
Now that you've taken a trip around USL League One and USL Championship, we're going to take it back to the news here in League One. First, the big thing worth talking about is the fact that the table is getting tight for a lot of these teams fighting for those playoff spots. There's 4 in particular. And then, of course, Player of the Week, Rafa Minzigan, was the award winner for that award this past week. As we now look into the standings, of course, Orlando and Richmond sitting at the bottom, but have a lot to prove. And then you've got North Texas and South Georgia Tormenta playing right now in an exciting matchup between the two, number 1 and number 2 going into the game. But North Texas, or at least it's Lansing getting hopped by Tormenta right now. Then we take a look at some of the power rankings. On Mondays, you'll get to see the updated version of this after today's games. But of course, sitting at the top is North Texas, who have been sitting at the top of the standings as well throughout the season. And then, of course, Orlando and Richmond sitting at the bottom. As we look at the Team of the Week, Chade, the goalkeeper for Orlando, really the only player in either of these teams who is in this lineup here. Had a great game, had several saves in their matchup against Chattanooga. As we look at the games next week, you've got quite a slate, 6 games, as you can see. Orlando has got Tormenta coming up, and also has forward Madison, whilst the Richmond Kickers have Toronto on Friday at 4 p.m. at BMO Training Ground, a tough matchup for them in a very hostile environment. Now taking a look at some of the games happening right now in the league. North Texas and Tormenta tied at 0 going into the half. Meanwhile, Greenville and Tucson also tied at 1. Meanwhile, the game yesterday between Toronto and Lansing were tied at 3-all after 90 whole minutes. And now let's go back to break. We have the second half of action coming your way right here on ESPN+.
Could slow you down. We go from 3 lanes just down to 2. So if you are heading downtown, make sure that you're using extreme caution. Jim!
Huh?
Hey, Jim!
Me?
Yes! Hey, are you looking for these?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Be careful heading down 64. Traffic is backed up.
I will. Thank you. She just talked to me on the TV.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still obvious on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
The most connected morning team to each other and Central Virginia. And it's a good thing they are. CBS 6 This Morning.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still obvious on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
Welcome back to Richmond, Virginia. We are about to enter our second half of action between the Richmond Kickers and Orlando City B. I'm Mark Schoenster here calling the action for you on ESPN Plus as we take a look at some of the highlights from our first half of action. Richmond knocking on the door a couple of times in this game, but so far it's been a pretty lackluster offensive performance on both sides. Chin here adjusting to the deflected pass, trying to get a shot on goal, but ends up getting it off target. And here's the goal that's called back. Chin offsides off the deflection off the left post, and Chin, who seemed so happy at first, finds himself losing this goal-scoring opportunity here. He's looking around and is definitely in frustration there. Couldn't tell if he was celebrating at first, but once the result was clear, you could tell that just frustration overcoming him. Here's a couple more of these offensive opportunities. Herrera definitely taking advantage of his height several times in this game, catching balls over top players, punching it away several times, and just overall keeping Richmond off the board. And then here we got the yellow card by Magalhaes. Slide tackles Raphael from behind, giving Orlando a free kick, which resulted in nothing much offensively. And then we got Mwape, who took a shot here, had a lot of heat behind it, but it goes straight into the arms of Herrera. And then we have our second yellow card of the game. Tablante, the assailant on this one, slide tackling Gallardo from behind and gets his 5th yellow card of the season. And now I take a look at some of these stats here. Richmond once again dominating possession in this game, seemingly the only team with any sort of offensive opportunities. As you see by these stats, Orlando hasn't taken a single shot in this entire game, and only 2 shots on target by Richmond, and one of them went right into the arms of Herrera, that Mwape shot we talked about just a second ago, and we saw it as well. As now the teams switch sides and the sun dips down a little bit more, hopefully cooling off the field at least slightly. It was feeling over 100 degrees going at kickoff. Had a hydration break at the 35th minute of this game. Maybe we'll see another one if Gabrielle Gusti and the rest of the officiating crew decide to be what they need to do. And we are underway here in the second half. Orlando with the ball now. Begrew opts to give it back to Mendoza in the back line. So far, all across the league, if all this results stood, every single team would be leaving the week with a point. Tucson and Greenville tied. Tormenta and North Texas tied. This game tied in the game yesterday. A exciting 3-3 affair at BMO Training Ground. Lansing and Toronto both playoff teams, or at least contending for the playoffs, and both came away with a point. But both teams here looking for a goal-scoring opportunity, and to capitalize off of it, would not want to walk away with a 0-0 draw. And on the other side of that script, a point is a point, and both teams have been struggling to find that, especially Richmond on this 4-game losing streak they find themselves on. Here's Raphael, left side. He's got Mendoza behind him, decides to pass it up, gets it back. Here's Amer. Diouf gives it a shot deflected, and it's going to roll easily to Fitzgerald. Just having to scoop it up as it rolls straight towards him. Not much fear there for the veteran keeper who comes from Chiba, Japan. And last played with the Tampa Bay Rowdies at 5 saves, 13 apps, and 4 clean sheets with the now dominating USL Championship team, doing very well in the Eastern Conference. Looking for the latest USL League One news and content? Follow at USL League One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for exclusive access and updates. And a lot of quality content from a lot of these teams as well on Twitter. Richmond, a great active social media platform. UC fans still all here in attendance after halftime, despite this intense heat. Gallardo gets the ball knocked away by Seamus. He tries to keep it in bounds, but he's unable to do so, and it'll be a corner kick for the home side. Gallardo waiting for the ball to get back to him. Thompson and Gallardo both go over there to that corner. And Thompson decides to leave the main striker to take care of this kick. 21 years old, still a younger guy, one of the younger players starting on this team. Scored 4 goals, all of them early in the season, as he sends it into the box, gets ahead, but punched away by Herrera. And there's some open room for the away side. This is Bender on the ball. I think it's triple team. This gets closed from every direction as we get a nice little back heel pass back to Mawape, who sends it back to Fitzgerald. Open room for Jordan Bender, but then suddenly all that open room was closed off in front, to his right, and behind him by 3 separate defenders, which is something that David Buelow said was a thing that this team has improved on since last playing Orlando, is their defense. Mawape has the ball. Gives it back to his back line. It's been 2 days shy of 2 months since these two teams last played each other. Here's Gallardo into the attacking third. He's got Chin and Mawape in the box. Steps inside himself, tries to step back, and he's unable to do so, and fouls Diouf on the play. It'll be a Orlando free kick. Gallardo a little bit confused there, almost seeming to try to take the free kick himself the other way. But it is Orlando possession here. This ball gets knocked around a little bit. Gallardo trying to draw a foul there, wipes out. Good no call by the referee. Kind of just ran into Silva. start a progression up the front line as we get a through ball to the right side. Tablante with the ball, and then he's called for offsides. Players seeming to give up on the play. They seem to know that he had been behind the back line, and sure enough, the ref just waited until he got another touch on the ball to rip his flag into the air. And it'll be a Richmond ball once again. A rare offensive opportunity, at least it looked like that for Orlando, but instead it'll be Richmond ball once again. So far defensively, really haven't let anything through. This ball gets knocked around a little bit more. Mawape into the box, fires a shot over the crossbar. That's another look from him. We said we should expect more looks from Mawape in this game. David Buelow said he's a dangerous player. Let's take a look at that one more time. He cuts into the box and fires it, and it's off target, but that's the kind of look that you probably should appreciate, because if you can just get that one on frame, that's a look that you take anytime, especially for a guy who's been getting accolades from Mawape, or Mawape's getting accolades from his coach. He said he's a really dangerous player, and he thinks that once Mawape and the rest of the team get on the same page, don't expect to see him create a lot of chances for other players as well, score goals for himself. This ball gets sent all the way to Tablante, and it's cleared out by Fitzgerald, not allowing any opportunity for Tablante to take it into the box for a shot. But it will be an Orlando throw-in. And Seamus will bring it back into play. He veers it around a little bit. He gets pushed down by Thompson, and a foul will be called. Lots of fouls called in this game. 2 yellow cards already. There were quite a few yellow cards the last time these two teams met. So we take a look at this one again. Thompson just pushing him down from behind. Pretty easy call. Not too much to hide there for Thompson. As Diouf and Seamus sit by the ball. Looks like the captain's the one who's going to take the kick. And he looks around. Approach. These little brief gestures to his teammates. He sends it in through. Seamus crosses inside, punched away by Fitzgerald. Not properly cleared away, but on a second opportunity, it's done so. Joint effort by a couple of players, Thompson and Gallardo in particular. And this ball is going to get cleared out and quickly thrown back in for Orlando. Diouf forcing it, and take a look at that free kick again. Seamus just trying to get it inside, and Fitzgerald punches it away. Here's Seamus with the throw-in. Gives it back to Amer. Seamus gets knocked down. Another foul called. A lot of fouling done by Richmond so far, a team that doesn't get called for fouls too often. Currently last in the league, or I guess be a better way to put it, the best in the league in fouls called on them. Only 182 coming into this game, which is the least out of any team in the league. Just 2 less than the second least team in FC Tucson. A team that are pretty good at not getting called for fouls for the most part, but Richmond definitely not winning the foul battle here today, getting called more than Orlando has. Bell gives it over to the right side, Seamus. He sends it up, and it's knocked away easily. Gallardo tries to trap it in, but loses his balance after he whiffs the ball. Now it's over to left side, Mendoza with it. Gives it in the middle to Amer. Troyer tries to knock it away, another foul called. Kind of checks into Amer on that play, and he's writhing a little bit. Seeming to hold his lower back after getting knocked over by Braden Troyer. You see he right here gets the ball, and Troyer just kind of steps in and knocks him down. Another foul for the Kickers. Raphael Now it's to the left side. Bender has it into the attacking third, looking to get into the box. He does, passes it inside, knocked in, but no foot on it by Diouf. Just deflected around. Here's Seamus, picking up some speed on the right side, deciding to take it all the way himself. Before he's met by Thompson, he gets past him. Looks for a light touch of a pass, but it doesn't go anywhere. Richmond picks it up. Seems like a wasted effort by the defender on the right side. After dashing all the way down the pitch, just a pass that didn't have enough heat on it. It's collected easily by the Richmond back line. As we await the home team to throw it back into play here. An interesting thing David Bulow said coming into this game when asked about how his team's changed, and this kind of more addressed the season as a whole. He said that he wonders if you'll look around the league and start seeing teams like Madison, Chattanooga, and hopefully themselves starting to pick up points as the season goes on, unlike the young teams, because they have experience playing in these long professional seasons, unlike some of these teams like Orlando. But here today, Orlando's done everything they can to keep up as they get into the box. Here's Bulldog, sends it inside, deflected away. Another shot, Chin, deflected again. And crisis averted. Another shot right there by Troyer, and Herrera is able to knock it away once again. A couple of offensive opportunities by Richmond. Take a look at that. Definitely the highlight of the game so far. Bulldog giving it a look. Herrera deflects it. And then Chin gets his go. I think it deflected off of a player, and then Bulldog, or Troyer, apologies, gives it a look outside the box, keeping Herrera on his toes, and we've got a corner kick. Richmond very aggressive there. All the players hounding on the ball, testing this Orlando team. Coming pretty close to finding the back of the net. Now here's Gallardo. Sends it inside. Punched away by Herrera. Mawape quickly challenges it and begging for a throw-in. We'll see what the ref decides. A lot of speed on it, and he does give it to Richmond for a throw-in, calling it off of Raphael. And the home side's going to bring it back to their back line after that. A little bit of an offensive opportunity, a couple shots. Magales with it, then he gets it back. Shanosky with it. Sends it all the way down. It's headed away, but collected by Mawape. Pass it over to the right side. Lockerbie gives it inside, deflected away. Corner kick. Mendoza deflecting it away and seemingly frustrated with someone on this team. As we approach another corner kick, Richmond attacking with a little bit more conviction here, seeming a little bit more dangerous on their touches as they bring it down the field. Let's see if they can capitalize off this little offensive surge and give themselves a lead. Just a reminder, they haven't scored since May 22nd, which was against this Orlando team down in Orlando, Florida. Thompson opts to give it to Gallardo, a guy who is behind a lot of their goal scoring early on. Lockerbie sends it inside, but it's headed away by Orlando. And Diouf gives it to Bender. They've got a lot of open room. They're driving all the way down the pitch. Tries to send it through. Poor pass cleared away. Missed opportunity for Orlando. They had players progressing down the field. And he had his captain waiting for a through ball, but the pass was unable to deliver. And instead found a sea of red players. As Mendoza throws this back in for the away side, who have been desperate for some offensive anything, to be quite honest, just looking to find any sort of offensive rhythm. Here's Diouf, actually Begru. Gets pushed down by Akwe, and they're going to call it fair play, just getting a little rough between the two of them. As we are about 60 minutes into this game, Richmond really looking to end that drought here. A couple of opportunities on the goal, especially one just a couple minutes ago where they had a couple of shots in succession. And Herrera and a couple of defenders who were at the right place at the right time were able to either punch it away or let it deflect off of them and keep it out of the goal. Akwe gets it to the right side. Lockerbie back to Akwe. Now it's back in Orlando's possession as they send it back over to the attacking half. Shanoski. Now it's Magalhaes once again. Oddly enough, no substitutions 60 minutes into this matchup. As this through ball goes in for Gallardo, he loses possession of the ball and offsides is called. Gallardo just unable to get a touch on it in the box. And Herrera collects it and then offsides is called. So even if Gallardo is able to get possession of the ball in the box, he would have been called back. But as a striker, even there, just a little bit upsetting. He couldn't get a touch on it regardless. If that had been an opportunity where he would have been able to take a strike without an offsides call, that would have been one he would have strongly wanted back. And now Herrera will reset this game.
Orlando City substitution.
As I spoke about that comment about subbing, we've got our first one in this game. Jordan Bender is coming out of this game, coming in for Trezer Mbuyu, who scored the game-tying goal last Wednesday against Chattanooga in extra time to give Orlando 1 point at home against a hot Red Wolves team that hasn't lost in quite a while. And Mbuyu, 22 years old, comes from Charlotte, North Carolina. Last played at Liberty University in Virginia. He's now going to come up to the attacking front for this Orlando side and maybe can bring some of the magic he brought in that game against Chattanooga. You saw it was one of those highlighted plays at halftime. Was able to split between some defenders in the box and fire a shot in the top left corner, catching Bengals off guard and making it a 1-1 draw final. Now here's Lockerbie. Sends it into the box for Bulldog, but the pass is off target. And it's going to roll out of bounds for a goal kick. Lockerbie's pass just not where it needed to be. That seems to be a consistent pattern with some of these Richmond offensive attacks. Just the placement of these passes, which is something Buelow mentioned, is something they're trying to improve on. Hasn't seen too much improvement in the game today, but there's still almost 30 minutes of action left. And all it takes is one good pass to give them a chance and ring up the scoreboard. This one gets sent over. The newly subbed in Mbuyu gives it back to Raphael. A little hot in the pass. And he's unable to win possession of the ball. Bulldog with it. Bulldog's going to get pulled down by Raphael. And he sort of stumbles into the assailant as this play goes on. The referee is going to give a warning to Raphael as Richmond opts to reset this free kick. Referee waits. Wanting to restore order here in this game. Some of the fans a little irritated. Matthew Bulldog, a guy who Richmond's happy to have back. He was injured for a couple games, and Richmond's coach pretty excited to have him on the offense, mentioning that he's been pretty one-dimensional for quite a while, relying too much on Joe Gallardo. And when the other team, having noticed that after him scoring a couple goals early in the season and was in the Golden Boot race early on with his 4 goals, hasn't scored since because defenses have locked him down and no one on Richmond's able to take up that role as Lockerbie has the ball in the attacking third. Gives it back and receives it once again. Here's Akwe. And this goes all the way back to the back line. But this one gets chipped into the attacking third but knocked away. And now a bit of a counterattack opportunity for Orlando. We get another foul here. Diouf being called on the foul, or being the one fouled on the play. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, the USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. This gets reset into play. Mbuya with the ball, then gets fouled. Braden Troyer, the fouler on the play as Silva comes down the field hot. Here's Bagru, tries to send it inside, deflected, and won back by the kickers, and then he pushes Thompson from behind. And he'll be called for a foul. Thompson a little bit heated after that. A little bit angry in the ref, giving him a little bit of a warning, making him to watch his behavior and be careful. And now the ref issues a little bit of a warning to Bagru, who fouled after his offense lost another offensive opportunity, a story of this game. And now these two sides will return back to action. Once the free kick is taken, we'll take a look at this one again. He just pushes him down from behind, and he holds Thompson's foot in the air, and Thompson yanks it away. And that's where the anger came from the Richmond defender. 25 years old from Brick, New Jersey. But despite the fault really being in Bagru's hands, the ref still wanted to make a point that Thompson needs to keep his cool. Fans been active throughout this game. As we saw at halftime, have the second best attendance average in the league. And outside of the home opener, which is the highest attended game out of any League One game, as Lockerbie almost wins the ball, but Mendoza is able to win it from the ground. Here's Bagru, gets grabbed a little bit by Troyer. And Troyer gets pushed back, and he gets another yellow card. Actually, it's his first. Troyer getting his third on the season, so has had two throughout the year. You got to look at this one again, just a repeat offender a couple times, and this time he kind of grabs Bagru's hip. This is, he gets his first of this game, but his third on the season. So that's now his 8th appearance in the season. He's 26 years old. And last played for the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks. This is his first professional team to play for. Here's Gallardo. Sends a through ball to Chin. No offsides called. Chin stepping into the box, forces a corner kick off of Silva. Another opportunity for Richmond as we near 70 minutes. And a little while since we've had some offensive promise. As we wait for this ball to get cleared out, Troyer going to take it out. But this home crowd, we've heard them throughout this game, and outside of their season or this league high home opener with over 5,000 people, they've broken 3,000 in their last 3 games, including their 2 games against North Texas, where they broke 45,000. Which are their 3 highest outside of the home opener. As this gets crossed inside, Bawape has it. He knocks it back. Bolduc. Here's Akwe. Crosses it inside. He's got someone in there. There's Chin. He finishes it away. And Richmond takes the lead and ending their drought. Dennis Chin on the volley. 1-0 lead for the home side. Doesn't hit the ground. Chin takes it in, left side. Gets it past Herrera. And Dennis Chin has his 3rd goal on the season. Excellent cross by Akwe, and Chin is able to get it around the defender and punch it in, giving Richmond the lead. Much needed point for this home side, and a good reason to cheer for the Red Army his third goal of the season here. And Richmond almost reached 2 months without a goal. Now it has been but a minute. And the home side have something to cheer about. These fans who have been coming to these games regardless of their home team struggles now have something to cheer for, and if they can hold it for 20 more minutes, then they can come away with 3 points for the first time in quite a while. Here's Diouf giving it back. Silva. Seamus, actually, Thompson. Gets pushed down. Seamus wins the ball. Then it gets cleared away for a corner kick. And now Orlando looking to respond after that goal. Good work by the Richmond offense. Akwe with just a great cross into the box. And Chin with the left-footed volley, able to finish the job. 32 years old, 6'2", comes from Jamaica. Last played for USL Championships Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but has since come to this side as this gets headed away easily. And now Richmond seeming to have a little bit more fire in their step, a little bit more energized. Like a burden lifted from their shoulders. This gets headed in. Here's Mbuyu failing to keep the ball in bounds. Goal kick for the home side. As fans cheer from their section, the Red Army. Something that's been on the mind of every Richmond player can finally be relieved. David Bulow talked about some of the players who've been playing well in this time, but said it's really hard to acknowledge these guys when they've been struggling to find an end result, but now at least they could take some relief in the fact that they were able to put something on the board, and they're able to do it in front of a home crowd who came out despite this rather abusive weather. This ball gets headed around a couple of times. And now Orlando looking to reset, trying to find some offensive momentum. Raphael's got some room, but he loses it quickly to Troyer. To Lockaby. Mwape. Good ball through defenders. Here's Bolduc, getting attacked from behind by Diouf. Now here's Mwape. Unable to get by Bagru, and a foul is being called here for Richmond. Bagru just getting a little bit too much into Mwape's legs, just tripping him up. And now Richmond being met by Tablante, but will not let him win the ball in a dangerous spot. This ball gets headed out by Silva, and it'll be another Richmond throw-in. This ball goes back. Wahab Akwe, the one with the assist on that goal, has also received accolades from his coach for being exceptional in the backfield. Now has an assist to add to his stat sheet this season. As we get another foul called here. Akwe already has 1 assist on the season, now 2 with that one. As we get a second substitution in this game for Orlando. Richmond still yet to substitute anybody on. As Serginho comes onto the pitch, another Brazilian for the side, Rafael, coming out. Serginho scored their second goal, that beauty from outside the box, to give them a 2-goal lead early last time they played Richmond. Now here he is again, maybe looking to bring back some of that magic here today. Troyer sends it up, but it's cleared away. As we get another hydration break for these two sides. We had one 35 minutes into the first half, and now we've got one about 30 minutes into the second half, but now we've got a 1-goal lead by Richmond. Let's take a look at that one here. You see Bulldog just gives it to Akwe, and he gives a couple of looks, takes a step, and then just sends it inside to Chin with a wonderful volley on frame, and gives this team a much-needed goal and a well-set-up play, and Chin able to do the job here. Last played for Pittsburgh, but before that actually played in Israel for a little bit, scored 5 goals there in 2017. And now he's punching goals into the back of the net in front of his home crowd, 3 on the season. And he's a guy who has had a lot of experience in his time, 32 years old. He's been around. He even spent some time with Orlando City. Back in 2011 to 2014, he scored 22 goals in that tenure. So Orlando familiar with the name Dennis Chin and probably think of him pretty fondly, but not today. As he gives a team in the opposing jersey a goal here as the players return to the pitch. Orlando looking to find an equalizer. Meanwhile, Richmond maybe wanting to put another one in, or at the very least maintain this lead for the rest of this game. This one gets sent back all the way to Fitzgerald, who hasn't had too many challenges in this game. At one point in time was very much in the Golden Glove race, but since the bit of a nosedive Richmond has had, he has suffered as well in the stat sheet. Gallardo trying to keep it in play, but the ref is going to call the foul, and he's being ignored by Diouf. The ref giving him a little bit of a talk, and it's going to give him a yellow card here. Too many offenses by the captain. He's going to get his 4th card of the year. All of them being yellows. Probably did not help his case when he ignored the referee as he was walking towards him. Now he's going to log the call into his book, not allowing the quick reset by Gallardo. Someone who's been off the goal sheet for quite a while now, but also has a history, along with Dennis Chin, of time in Orlando. Back in 2017, he played for Orlando City B, had 7 appearances, and moved to the U.S. in 2016 to join Orlando's academy. So a couple of players from this Richmond side who have found their way through Orlando and played for the team they now find themselves up against. Here's Akwe giving it back to Fitzgerald. Troyer gives it over to the left side. Some poor touches by Thompson, but he's able to keep it in bounds. Troy gets a little tripped up. Serginho, the assailant per se, and now it'll be a free kick for Richmond. Going to get, the PA announcer just now announces the substitution from a while ago. And the fans continue to chant. The Red Army in the left corner, giving their team something to fight for. Now they have potentially helped them get a win for the first time in quite a while here for the Richmond Kickers. Pushed around a little bit, and now Orlando on a bit of a counterattack to Blante. Gets it knocked away by Fitzgerald coming out of the box for a slide tackle, but they'll have a throw-in. And Orlando has a throw-in deep inside Richmond territory. Here's Seamus looking around for an opportunity, throws it inside. But a bit of a triple team on Begru. Gives it back to Seamus. So we take a look at the attendance here today. This is inside, knocked away and out of bounds for a corner kick. Just over 2,500 people here, which is lower than their last 3 home games, but considering the fact that it's nearly over 100 degrees as we get a little bit of an altercation here, players throwing hands at each other. Referee's got to come in here, break it up as more and more players are joining in on the scuffle. Herrera is all the way down the pitch as they knock down a board. Just about everyone is all clumped up right in this one spot. Players unhappy with each other, tensions boiling over right here. And Herrera, all the way across the pitch, decided to give his 2 cents as well. And the referee opting to not give any cards here, or at least not yet. Now he's waving to some players and consulting with his assistants who also got different angles of the altercation. And Tablante exchanging words with Akira Fitzgerald. As this argument goes down, players approaching referees as they're trying to have a discussion and figure out what their course of action is going to be. As nearly all 22 players were behind Fitzgerald's goal and knocked down a board, and players getting very aggressive. Definitely proving to not be friendly to each other. Last time these 2 teams met, Richmond had 4 yellow cards, Orlando had 3. And we're seeing a little bit of that chippiness here again today. So we await the referee's decision to figure out exactly what they're going to do with this entire mess. Was the only way to put it is a mess, is just about every player just came down and weren't even around the play, just decided to get a piece of it. Now, looks like Gabriel Gusti is going to now issue his penalties here as he brings Fitzgerald forward. Also Begru. Might be expecting some yellow cards here, pushing everybody else away. Sending Silva back. Here comes out a red card for 3 different players. Fitzgerald, the keeper, kicked out of the game, along with 2 Orlando players. It's 9 versus 10 now. Must have been some nasty words exchanged between these players, and then the altercation added on top of that, and Gusti is not showing any mercy here as the keeper is sent off the pitch. We'll see what Richmond decides to do with this situation. Akwe escorting Fitzgerald off the pitch, just his 2nd card of the season. And Fitzgerald, having started and played all of the minutes for Richmond, is now going to have to leave the field. He reaches some applause as we take a look at just everything that happened here. Things just got a little bit hairy here after it got knocked out. Begru stealing away from Fitzgerald, and then the altercations came after that. Begru, one of the other players, getting kicked out of this game. Only his 2nd card of the season in general, and it's going to be a red. Mendoza being the other guy. It's now, they send in their backup keeper to take the roles here today. Joe Rice is the name. Joe Rice from Fairfax, Virginia, last played for Lionsbridge FC. And just to confirm, it was William Begru and Randy Mendoza for Orlando, and Akira Fitzgerald, the keeper, getting kicked off for Richmond as we approach this substitution, as Richmond needs a keeper in this game, and they're going to send in this Joe Rice, who has not seen any action all season and played 13 appearances for Lionsbridge FC prior to his senior year at Virginia Commonwealth University, or VCU. And we get we got A couple of substitutions here. Dennis Chin, the goal scorer, coming out in for the replacement goalkeeper. And now we have another substitution coming in for Orlando. Austin Amer coming out for Wilfred Williams, a 23-year-old from Johnson City, Tennessee. You know, we expected a lot more substitutions in this game given the hydration and all of the heat that was coming into this game, but we got our substitutions in a much different way given this red card situation, as we now have a corner kick, 9 players versus 10, in a very interesting shakeup in this match. Probably get a lot of added time added along with this 5 minutes because of how long the altercation took. Orlando would really put an exclamation point here if they could finish a corner kick. It's a pitch. Definitely looks more empty than it did before. 3 players missing after a full-on fight between some of these players. Diouf, the one going to take the kick, the captain. He waits, sends it inside, headed away by Mwape. It's headed back in, foul called. Serginho jumping too much into Bolduc on that one. You can imagine all these players here just Richmond trying to wring this game out. Orlando trying to knock on a couple more times, but only 9 players on the pitch, giving Richmond the advantage to just knock around and kill time for the rest of this game. If they're able to pull this off, it'll be their first win since May 11th, when at home they beat FC Tucson 2-0. Over 2 months since Richmond has earned 3 points in a game. This should be one. A long time coming for the home side. It'll be Orlando ball once again. This one gets... We got replay, a lot of whistling blown by the referee, and take a look here at those red cards that happened in that altercation. The biggest one of the 3, of course, being the goalkeeper, but the other side of the story is Orlando is down a man after all is said and done. Begru, one of the veteran leaders on the team, along with Mendoza, both being kicked out of the game. Stablante tries to get into the box, but he's met by a tangle of Richmond players. And Serginho tries to win it back, but ends up knocking it out. Definitely an interesting twist to this matchup. At times been a little bit dry of a match, but after that, the altercation really throwing a wrench into the gears and adding quite the story. 3 red cards, 1 altercation. Definitely one worth remembering here. In City Stadium, Richmond, Virginia. And as I was talking about before we had that whole thing, over 2,500 people here. Who's up, who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL League One Power Rankings, only on USLLeague1.com. Let's see. If Richmond gets a win here, they'll at least top Orlando. Maybe, depending on how other results go in the other League One games, could find themselves crawling up and maybe can pick up some momentum. Referee going back to another player. Might be issuing some warnings or maybe starting to have enough of what's happening. We got a player down though, Joe Gallardo. Been on the ground for a little while, and take a look at what happened here. Looks like he just wipes out. Maybe just steps funny, but he grabs his legs and continues to stay there. Gallardo, a guy we've talked about a little bit, has seen time with the US U15, U17, and U19 national teams, and he doesn't look like he's ready to get up immediately, and trainers are coming over to check his condition. This game definitely not been the prettiest of sorts. But despite that, the ref is going to give 6 minutes of stoppage time here today after 90 minutes, pretty much attributing all of that to just two things: the Dennis Chin goal and an altercation that resulted in 3 players getting yellow cards. 2 Orlando City strikers or 2 Orlando City players, a striker and a defender, in Randy Mendoza and William Begrew. And then the keeper, Akira Fitzgerald, as Gallardo gets carried off the pitch, not allowing any weight on his feet. So now they're going to sub in Sam Moore for his first ever appearance for Richmond. He's only 18 years old, 6'1", and he is a Richmond native. He played for Richmond United, one of their academy programs here in Richmond, Virginia, and is committed to the University of North Carolina. So a lot of promise in this young man. As the condition for his appearance, unfortunate, but still something that he can value very highly as he makes his first ever appearance as a professional soccer player. But he can't be but too unfamiliar. He's seeing a lot of players just about his age wearing white kits. So not too much out of place here. As Orlando maybe looking to repeat what they did a week and a half ago against Chattanooga. They do have Mbuyu on the pitch, who was the man of the match there with the equalizer late. But here's Bolduc. He's got Moore, who sends it back to Bolduc. He's got a lot of open room. He's got Mwape in the box. He chips it inside, got a lot of air. Mwape unable to get to it. Here's Lockerbie, gives it to Mwape. Gives it back to Lockerbie. We're going to have another substitution in a moment for Richmond. And they're going to bring it all the way back to their back line. All the way back to Rice, who, much like Sam Moore, wearing 23 and 24, having their first appearances on the season. Both younger players seeing time for unfortunate reasons. Akwe gives it to the right side. Lockerbie. He's got some open space. Passes it inside, but it meets only that of Wilfred Williams. And now Orlando trying to get on the counterattack, but is rejected immediately, and it rolls out. As a Richmond kicker's chance. Echo from the Red Army.
Richmond substitution, leaving the match number 80. Move time for Wapke.
Now we've got Greg Bamey coming into the game, replacing Mwape, who had a shot on goal earlier, unable to get a goal himself, but can lead the pitch knowing his team has a 1-0 lead in seemingly such a long time. And they're hoping for their first win since May 11th. Last one being here in City Stadium. Greg Bamey has seen some time this season, has played in 3 games and started all 3 of them. Now will be his 4th appearance, coming from Cincinnati, Ohio. Also played for Virginia Commonwealth University, commonly known as VCU. Much like several players on this team, just that local Virginia connection, VCU being located right in downtown Richmond. Now here's Diouf, giving it to Serginho. And he just misses Williams inside the box. And that'll be a goal kick for the home side. Gotta give credit to these fans coming out here for this game. Coach David Buelow mentioned that the community loves the club. The front office is good with making sure they have a good atmosphere, and it's a reason for the city to come together. And he's hoping to grow winning culture on this team in order to help the numbers to continue to rise. Him, the coaching staff, and the technical staff all know that. And he said it himself, this community deserves a winning team, and they want to give them that. It's Bolduc. Brings it into the right channel and escorts it and earns himself a corner kick here. As Richmond fans have something to be happy about here today, looking to If they can just run out these last few minutes, can walk away with 3 points. And they're taking their time, knowing full well that any second they can spare, or any second they can waste would be a better way to put it, is a second closer to 3 points. They just keep it in the corner, more with it, deflects it away. It's picked up by Serginho. He's looking to get it up the field quickly, gets it deflected. Should be an Orlando throw-in. This ball looking for a different ball. Ball boy getting it to Lockerbie. She didn't have any deflection there, so it maintains Richmond possession. Here's Diouf with the ball. And he sends it far forward. And it's headed away by Rice, just outside the box. This one's cleared upward, and it'll be a Orlando throw-in. Should expect the referee to give one more chance because they started it with a Gallardo injury, that 90 minutes. So Orlando has one last chance at a wild equalizer. They're not giving themselves any favors here. Now Silva progresses forward and gets slide tackled from behind by Bolduc. And Silva quick to get up, seemingly knowing that time could stop any moment for this Orlando side. Now here's Serginho. Looking to send this one inside. Perhaps the last opportunity of the game. And Herrera's coming up, so that kind of solidifies that. Here's Seamus crossing it inside and just way too high on that one. And there's the final whistle. Richmond has taken away 3 points in this game, the first time since May 11th. Over 2 months, and now they finally got their win, and they finally ended their scoring drought. 1-0 is the final score. Dennis Chin can sit from the bench, knowing he put his team in the lead off of an excellent cross by Akwe. And the Richmond Kickers have taken a win here at City Stadium in front of a home crowd. A hot day here in Richmond, but they were able to get the job done against a younger Orlando City B side. There's Chin right there. An excellent volley inside of the box, able to get it in the left side just by the left post. With that, we're going to have highlights in just a moment, so stick around. You're watching USL League One Soccer right here on ESPN+.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still obvious on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
It's not just Zach's daydream. For the most epic weather coverage in Central Virginia, trust the CBS 6 Weather Authority.
New faces.
New players.
New ownership.
New challenges.
New league.
New opponents.
New rivals.
Joyful.
Authentic.
United.
Still your team.
Still obvious on.
Still the Richmond Kickers.
We are back in Richmond, Virginia. The Kickers have secured their first 3 points in over 2 months. The Kickers able to take the win here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here in this matchup. Offense, not something that we saw throughout the entirety of the game, but Richmond definitely the only one truly knocking on the door throughout this game. Gallardo sends this corner kick in, which is headed and knocked in for a goal by Chin, but he's called offside. But that anger that Dennis Chinfelt there would be redeemed later in this game because he would get his own, despite this one getting called back. The striker, 32 years old, and here's Gallardo with an opportunity here, get punched away by Herrera, who had a lot of activity throughout this game, challenged several times. And we get another look here. We had this offensive barrage by the kickers, a couple of shots, 3 to be exact, in practical succession, ending with this Troyer shot that's deflected away by Herrera. Orlando really struggling to get any sort of offense going throughout the entirety of this game. And then we have the goal. Akwe sends it inside perfectly. Chin with the volley to give Richmond the lead, and eventually it would give them the win in this affair. Chin celebrating with his teammates here after that strike that ended a nearly 2-month drought of goal scoring for the Richmond Kickers. The last time they scored was against the same Orlando side. And then we had the story for the rest of the match, which was the giant altercation that included, quite frankly, almost all of the players on the pitch coming in, getting their own piece of it, knocking down the board, and then the result of the play being 3 red cards, 1 for the keeper, Akira Fitzgerald, and 2 for Orlando players, William Bagru and Randy Mendoza, 2 of the older players. For Orlando City B, as we now take a look at the final stats, we see only 3 shots to 14 in favor of Richmond, and you can see there for today the shot battle was also the winner in overall. As we take a look at all this, 56% possession for Richmond. They had 60% last time, so winning the possession battle both times these teams have met. And you see the yellow cards and red cards, a plenty here in this matchup. Just overall a pretty chippy game along with that battle. Now we take a look at Richmond's schedule after that win. Can look a little bit more positive, but they go to BMO Training Ground next Friday against Toronto, where teams have struggled to find any success against a high-powered Toronto team, along with going to Forward Madison, Toronto again, then Forward Madison again, just alternating between these two teams before going to Tormenta. Meanwhile, Orlando starts their 5-game slate by hosting Tormenta and then going on the road for 2 straight against Madison and then having 2 straight against Lansing Ignite before finishing this 5-game stretch at FC Tucson, another team that are very tough to play on the road. But overall, Orlando have a lot that they have to find improvement in. But with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching this game. I'd also like to thank my production crew for making this all possible. You've been watching League One Soccer right here on ESPN+. Until next time, I'm Mark Schoenster saying have a good evening or a good night from wherever you may be watching this game.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.